up before the heater clicked on. The ceiling was a pale gray page. I wrote my name in the margin in the morning, just to prove I was here. The kettle whispered like a small confession. Steam climbed the window and blurred the city. I watched headlights smear into slow rivers, and I let my thoughts drift with them. I checked my phone without meaning to. No message, only the time. I told myself time is still a kind of reply, even when it says nothing. I folded yesterday into a thin square and slipped it under the cup. It tasted like weak coffee and stubborn pride, and a smile I didn't use outside a delivery truck. Side at the curb, somebody laughed too loud in the hallway. I felt my heart do that old habit of listening in for you. I opened my notebook to a clean line and wrote, today I will be gentle. Then crossed out gentle and wrote honest. I took a shower and let the water argue until my shoulders stopped defending. I put on a hoodie like a quiet shield and went to the kitchen again. The bread was a little stale, the butter was almost gone. I ate anyway, slow and careful, like I was learning patience from crumbs. At noon the sun showed up briefly, like a friend who can't stay long. It made a bright rectangle on the floor, and I stood in it to warm my face. I remembered your hands on the steering wheel, your voice saying I'm on my way. I remembered the way on my way sometimes means not today. I washed a plate that wasn't dirty, I cleaned a counter that didn't need it. I rearranged small objects because I couldn't rearrange my feelings. In the afternoon I walked to the corner store. The bell above the door chimed. The cashier nodded like a familiar stranger and nodded back. I bought a cheap pen and a pack of gum. I told myself it was practical, but it was really a ritual to prove I still make choices. On the way home I stepped over wet leaves. They looked like tired postcards. I wanted to send one to you with no address, only a mood. Evening arrived without drama, just a dimmer on the sky. I turned on a lamp and let its soft circle hold me. I cooked noodles and listened to nothing. No podcast, no news. I tried to hear my own breath and not treat it like background. I wrote again, slow a dear diary. I miss what we almost were, and I didn't apologize to the sentence. Later I cleaned my inbox, deleted old coupons, old promises. I found your name in a thread and didn't open it. I set the phone face down like a decision. I let the room be quiet without calling it lonely. Before sleep I opened the window a crack. Cold air slid in like truth. I whispered goodnight to nobody and somehow meant it. This morning I missed the first bus, on purpose if I'm honest. I wanted an extra minute to stand still without being watched. When the next one came, it exhaled and opened its doors. I tapped my card like a small agreement to keep going. The seats were damp with winter coats. The air smelled like mint gum and fatigue. I sat by the window so my thoughts could have scenery. A kid hummed a tune with no lyrics. An older man counted coins quietly. Somebody scrolled through a feed like it was a life raft. The city moved in slow cuts, traffic lights blinking like tired eyes. I traced a drop of rain as it dragged itself downward. I thought about texting you and felt my thumb pause. Not because I'm proud, but because I'm learning. At the next stop, a woman got on, carrying flowers wrapped in paper. I wondered who was waiting and why I wasn't. My reflection flickered over storefronts, a ghost stitched to passing signs. I looked away, then looked back again. I wrote lines in my head like notes I might never sing. Today I am okay, today I am not. The buzz jolted and the pen in my bag clicked as if it wanted to help me decide. I pulled out my notebook anyway and let the handwriting wobble. I wrote, I'm tired of translating silence, and underlined it once, not dramatic, just clear like a rule. A bridge passed above us and the river looked like smoke glass. I remembered us standing near water pretending we were fearless. My phone buzzed, not you, just a reminder to pay a bill, to keep being a nettle. I paid it while writing and felt strangely proud, like stability is a song you practice without applause. At work I smiled politely, said good morning with a calm voice. I answered emails as if my heart wasn't elsewhere. Lunch was a sandwich eaten at my desk. I watched crumbs fall and thought about how little things still make noise when they drop. In the afternoon I stepped outside to breathe air that wasn't recycled. The sky was the color of aluminum, the wind had sharp edges. I walked back in and did what I had to do. I kept my shoulders steady even when my mind wavered. After work the bus came again, headlights bright and early dark. I chose the same window seat, like returning to a page. A song played faintly from someone's earbuds, just the bass line leaking out. It sounded like distance and I understood it. I watched a couple laugh at the back, their heads leaning together, and I didn't hate them. I just felt the ache near my stop. I stood up too early, the habit of anticipation. I realized I still prepare for things that won't happen. When I stepped off, the cold hit me hard and clean. I walked home slowly to stretch the quiet. I cooked rice and washed my hands. I folded a towel with care. I wrote I survived another ordinary day and didn't call it small. Before bed I looked out the window, cars passing like thoughts. I didn't text you, I wrote instead. I carried a basket downstairs like I was hauling my week. Socks, shirts, a towel that still smelled like a memory I didn't invite. The laundry room light flickered, a small stutter in the ceiling. I pressed the buttons and listened to the machines wake up. Coins clink like tiny decisions. I stood there waiting while water filled the drum and turned my thoughts in circles. I remembered how we used to talk about nothing important, how that nothing felt like home. Now my home is mostly routines and quiet, and the sound of spinning fabric doing what it's told. A stranger walked in, nodded without sat on the plastic chair and watched the timer count down. I wondered when I started measuring life in minutes remaining. The washer rumbled, steady, stubborn. I thought maybe that's what love should be. Steady, stubborn, present. I opened a note on my phone, typed a sentence for you, deleted it, typed another. I stopped, closed the screen, and watched the cycle continue, as if the machine was teaching me how to let things run their course. When the wash finished, I moved close to the dryer. Warm air pushed out like a sigh I could borrow. The smell of detergent rose, clean and artificial, and still it comforted me because it meant fresh start. I folded a shirt I haven't worn in months and felt the fabric remember my shape. I wondered if you remember mine without trying. Upstairs, someone's footsteps passed, a quick hurry in the hallway. I realized I'm moving slower lately, not sad, just careful. Dawn began to show outside the small window, a thin blue line like the world underlining. Another chance. I thought about all the apologies I've rehearsed privately and how none of them matter without change. I wrote in my notebook, I don't wanna win, I wanna be real. Then I added, I'm tired of being brave alone. The dryer beeped, sharp and patient. I laughed once quietly, because even machines demand attention. I pulled out warm clothes and hugged the heat for half a second, like a person who doesn't want to look needy, but is. I carried the basket upstairs, lighter in weight, not in mind. Yet something had shifted, a tiny notch toward peace. In my room I folded everything slowly, as if neat edges could fix the messy parts of my chest. They couldn't, but it helped. I made tea and stood by the sink, watching the steam rise. I told myself, today I will not chase, I will choose. I wrote one final line before leaving, clean clothes, same heart, new day. And I meant it enough to try. It was 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, so I put on shoes like a quiet play on the street. Outside was empty, but not peaceful. The convenience store sign glowed, a small rectangle of false daylight. I walked in and the bell announced me to nobody. The aisles were bright and too honest, chips, candy, instant noodles, everything labeled clearly. Unlike my feelings, I grabbed a bottle of water, then another item, just to look like I belonged in this hour. A man by the freezer stared at ice cream like it held answers. The cashier watched a tiny TV, news on mute. I thought about how we used to laugh late, how midnight made us brave, how we promised things in voices softer than truth. I chose a cup ramen because it's simple, because it's warm, because it asks nothing back. At the counter my card beeped approval, and I felt weirdly grateful that something in my life still says yes. Outside the air was sharp, the sky was blank. I sat on the curb and let the city hum quietly. I peeled the lid halfway, steam rose like a small prayer. I waited the 3 minutes like it was a ceremony. I ate slowly, watching my breath appear and disappear in front of my face. I wanted to call you, then remembered how calling works. You say hello, and I pretend I'm fine. So I stayed silent and listened to a distant car pass, like a thought that refuses to stop. Back inside I bought a cheap notebook, blue cover, blank pages. I like the idea of something empty that could hold me. At home I sat at the table, lamp on, everything else dark. I opened the notebook and wrote the date at the top. I wrote about the store light, about the ramen heat, about how loneliness can be ordinary, like milk in the fridge. I wrote, I'm learning to stop negotiating, and I didn't soften it. I wrote, I want love that shows up, and I underlined it twice. I heard the neighbors' pipes click, the building settle in, and I realized the world keeps moving without my permission. I washed the cup and watched water swirl down the drain. I thought maybe that's what letting go is, a slow spiral, not a sudden drop. Before bed I stood in the doorway of my room and looked at my own shadow. I said out loud, quietly, good job, you made it through tonight. I turned off the lamp and let darkness be gentle. I didn't beg sleep, I just waited. I went up to the rooftop after work because the apartment felt too small. The stairwell smelled like dust and old paint, and my thoughts followed me. The door stuck for a second, then opened a cold wind. The city spread out like a rough sketch of itself. I leaned on the railing and felt metal chill my palms. I breathed in and tried to let my chest unclench. Somewhere a train moved, a faint sound, steady. I like that, a reminder that things keep going. I looked at the windows across the street, each one a different story. Some bright, some dark, some flickering like uncertainty. I thought about you again, not as a wound, but as a chapter that still has a bookmark. I told myself, missing you doesn't mean I should return. It just means I was real when I cared. The wind pushed my hair back like a hand trying to comfort me. I closed my eyes and listened. A siren wailed far away, then faded. I realized I'm not responsible for every noise in the world. I took out my phone, not to text, just to check the sky app, as if knowing the stars' names could steady my own. I saw a plane cross slowly, a Today I held my shape and it sounded proud without being loud. Ooh, I remembered our last argument, how we spoke like lawyers, how love turned into evidence and tenderness turned into terms. On the rooftop I decided I don't want love that feels like court. I want love that feels like home even on hard days. I exhaled long and slow and felt my shoulders drop as if they trusted me again. Downstairs my keys jingled, tiny little reminders. I walk back in and the hallway light seems softer. Inside my apartment I opened a window just a crack to bring the rooftop air into my room. I cooked something simple and ate standing up. I didn't scroll, I didn't numb. I sat at my desk and wrote the day like a diary. Not perfect, not polished, just true. Before sleep I checked the rooftop one more time. Through the glass I whispered, thank you for holding me, sky. And I believed it for a moment. I started the year by buying nothing, then I bought a coffee anyway. The barista wrote my name wrong, and somehow that felt accurate. The receipt curled in my pocket like it wanted to be remembered. I smoothed it on the table and watched the ink fade where my thumb touched. Outside, January looked strict. Bare trees, pale sky, people walking fast like speed could replace warmth. I sat by the window and made a list I didn't finish. Things I'll do better, things I'll stop explaining. My phone lit up, a notification I didn't need. I turned it off and listened to the espresso machine hiss. I thought about how I used to call you first thing in the morning, before the day had a chance to argue with my mood. Now my mornings are quieter, not empty, just careful. I'm learning the difference between peace and avoidance. I opened my notebook and wrote the day twice, as if repetition could anchor me to a new beginning. I wrote, I will choose what chooses me, then stared at it like it was too brave for a simple page. A couple walked in, laughing softly, their scarves tangled together like they belonged to the same story. I didn't envy them, not exactly. I just felt the small ache of being between chapters. I paid for my coffee and kept the receipt as proof that today happened, even if it wasn't special. On the train home, I watched my reflection blur into the glass, and I looked back anyway. At home I cleaned the kitchen, not because it was messy, but because my hands needed work and my mind needed quiet. drawer and found a spare key you once gave me. I held it for a long minute, then put it back. Not trash, not treasure, just a relic in a neutral place. In the afternoon, the sun showed up, thin and pale. I stood in it briefly like a plant trying. I wrote another line, don't confuse nostalgia with direction, and I underlined it once softly. Evening came early, as January always does. I cooked rice and let the steam fill the room. I didn't call you, I didn't blame you, I just let the day close without negotiation. Before bed I folded the receipt and tucked it into the notebooks like a bookmark for a life. And I'm rebuilding. This morning the elevator was quiet, no music, no ads, no small talk, just a soft hum and my own breathing. A neighbor stepped in, nodded once, we shared 10 floors like strangers sharing a secret. The mirror showed my tired face and the way I stand, a little guarded as if love might suddenly appear. I thought about you in that mirror, not your face but the feeling, the way my stomach used to flip for no reason. The elevator stopped on the 5th floor, a woman got in with groceries. The bags rustled like paper arguments, the doors closed again and silence returned. I realized silence has different flavors, some bitter, some clean. At the lobby I stepped out into cold air, the street smelled like exhaust and yesterday's rain. On my walk to work I passed the same bakery, the same bus stop, the same corner where we once waited together. I could almost hear your laugh and it annoyed me, not the memory, the way it still has power. At work I typed numbers, words, polite emails. I smiled at jokes I didn't fully hear. Around noon I took the stairs instead of the elevator. I wanted movement that required effort. My legs burned a little and I liked it, a proof that I'm alive in a way my heart hasn't been. In the afternoon I opened a folder full of old photos. I closed it immediately like touching a hot pan. I told myself I'm not weak for needing distance, I'm just learning how to stop bleeding. After work the elevator was crowded, people smelling like perfume and stress. Someone's phone played a video too loud. I stood in the back and watched the floor numbers climb, each ding a small countdown to home. When it reached my floor I stepped out quickly as if escaping a courtroom that wasn't real. At home I took off my shoes and felt the carpet under my feet, soft, forgiving, a small kindness. I cooked eggs and ate standing up. I didn't turn on the TV, I let the room be quiet on purpose. Later I wrote in my notebook, silence isn't the enemy, silence is where the truth shows up. I turned off the light and listened to the building settle, pipes clicking, a sleepy heartbeat. Before sleep I promised myself I won't chase a person who only visits when it's convenient. I forgot my umbrella, so the rain chose me first. It tapped my shoulders like a reminder I couldn't ignore. I ducked under a storefront awning and watched strangers hurry past, their umbrellas blooming like dark flowers. I bought a pocket umbrella from a small street vendor. It was cheap and stubborn, and I like that. When I opened it, it snapped with confidence, a tiny shelter in a city that doesn't stop. Walking to work I noticed how rain changes everything. it turned into control. At the office my shoes squeaked, leaving wet prints behind. I apologized automatically, then wondered why I'm always apologizing. I dried my hands and checked my reflection. Hair slightly wild, eyes more serious than yesterday. I wrote in my notes, stop saying sorry for taking up space, and I meant it at least for a minute. Lunch was eaten quickly, I watched rain streak the windows and felt the urge to send you a picture. Not to beg, just to share, but sharing with you lately feels like paying a toll. After work the rain softened like it had said enough. I walk slower to stretch the evening. At home I hung the umbrella by the door, water dripping into a small puddle. I stared at it like it was a metaphor I didn't ask for. I made soup, the kind that tastes like comfort. I sat down properly and ate without rushing. Later I opened my notebook and wrote, today I learned shelter can be small and still worth carrying. Before bed I shook the umbrella dry and laughed quietly, because even a cheap thing can save you. I turned off the light and listened to the last drops fall. Steady, patient, like time. My keychain felt heavier today, not from metal, from meaning. I held it in my palm at the front door and hesitated, as if leaving required permission. The hallway was quiet, the kind of quiet that listens back. I locked the door and heard the click like a verdict. On the street, cold air bit my ears. I tucked my chin down and kept walking anyway. At the crosswalk I watched the little walking man appear, green and stubborn, telling everyone to move. I thought about you and how you always moved when it was comfortable, when the light was green. I waded through red and realized patience is a skill and also a trap if you never get what you're waiting for. At work, keys sat on my desk, a small pile of responsibility. I touched them now and then like counting worried beads. A coworker asked how I was. I said fine, the easiest lie in the world. At lunch I ate alone and listened to the room, forks clinking, people talking about weekend plans. I smiled at a joke I didn't hear, then opened my bag and found a spare key, the spare key you once gave back. After we argued like returning a promise without words, I stared at it and felt my chest tighten, then loosen like a knot giving up. I put it in an envelope, not to send, just to contain. After work I walked home slow, deliberate. I let the city's noise fill the spaces you used to occupy. At home I made tea and sat by the window. I watched cars pass as if they were choices. I opened my notebook and wrote, today my keys taught me something. Weight can be carried but not forever. taped the spare key inside the envelope and labeled it past, not angry, just organized. Before bed I held my keychain again and noticed it felt lighter, not because the metal changed, because my mind did. I turned off the light and let the click of the switch sound like a clean ending for one small day. By the sink at midnight, only the small light on. The rest of the kitchen dark, like it didn't want to witness me. Water ran softly, a thin silver line. I washed a cup that didn't need washing. Sometimes I do that, clean what's already clean, because I don't know how to clean my thoughts. The window reflected my face, tired, quiet. I watch myself as if I was someone else. I remembered how you used to call me too sensitive, like feeling deeply was a crime. I decided sensitivity is a gift. I just gave it to the wrong hands. I dried the cup carefully and put it away, each motion slow, like a prayer without religion. My phone buzzed once, a random update, I set it down. I listen to the refrigerator hum, steady and indifferent. I envy that a machine that doesn't miss anyone. I opened my notebook on the counter and wrote, midnight isn't sadness, midnight is honesty. I wrote about the day in small details, the way rain smelled, the way I once it were. I wrote about you, but only briefly, like mentioning a city I no longer live in. Then I wrote about me more than usual, what I won't accept what I'm learning. The water stopped, silence filled the room, and for once it didn't scare me. I turned off the sink light, and the darkness didn't feel like punishment. It felt like rest, like closing a book. In bed I listened to my own breath, slow, steady, and I promised myself I won't abandon me again. I chose the stairs today, not to be healthy, but to avoid the elevator mirror that asked too much. The stairwell smelled like old paint and someone's detergent. A mix of past lives stacked in one building. My shoes made small echoes, each step answering itself, like the hallway was practicing how to speak back. On the second floor, a door opened and closed quickly. I heard a cough, then silence again. I kept going, counting landings, as if numbers could hold me steady. When feelings don't halfway up, I stopped to breathe and noticed my chest was tighter than I admitted. I thought about how I used to climb into your world 2 steps at a time, so eager I didn't notice the cost. Now I climb slower, not because I'm broken, because I'm learning how to arrive without begging. At the 5th floor landing, there's a small window, fogged at the edges, like a tired eye. I wiped it with my sleeve, made a clear oval, and looked out at the street. People moving like punctuation. Oh, buzz past, the dog pulled its owner forward. Someone carried flowers wrapped in brown paper. I wondered who gets flowers today and whether they believe them or just accept the idea of care. My phone vibrated once, a group chat notification. I ignored it and listened to my breathing. It sounded uneven, like I still expect your name to appear in my day. I climbed again and the echo followed, a quiet version of me that doesn't perform at my floor. I unlocked the door and felt relief, like being alone is sometimes safer. Inside I put down my bag and stood still, the room holding its quiet without insisting on meaning. I made tea, watched steam rise, and remembered how you used to say you overthink. Maybe I do, but overthinking is how I survive when people are unclear and love is conditional. I opened my notebook and wrote, today I chose effort over avoidance, then laughed at myself, because that's still avoidance, isn't it? So I wrote again, today I chose myself, and let it stay. Later I heard footsteps in the stairwell, someone else climbing, their steps fading upward, like a reminder that life continues. Before bed I looked at the door and felt grateful that I can close it without guilt. I turned off the light and let the stairwell echo belong to someone else for once. I went grocery shopping after work because the fridge looked tired and I needed proof that I can take care of things. The automatic doors open like they recognize me. Cold air rushed out, smelling like apples and plastic. I grabbed a basket, the handle sticky from someone else's life, and walked toward produce as if I had a plan. Tomatoes too shiny, bananas half bruised. I stood there longer than necessary, choosing like it mattered. A song played quietly overhead, something cheerful, and it felt disrespectful to my mood. I picked oranges anyway. Their skin rough, bright. I like the idea of brightness that doesn't ask permission. In aisle 3 I saw a couple arguing softly about cereal brands, and I felt something twist. Not jealousy, not anger, just the strange sadness of shared decisions. Yeah. My phone buzzed again. A message from you, just one word, sorry. I stared at it between shelves, surrounded by canned soup and paper towels and choices that are labeled clearly. Sorry is such a small word, it fits anywhere, it sounds good, even when it means nothing. I didn't answer, I kept walking past chips and pasta, past the easy comforts. I stopped by the freezer and watched frost cling to glass. I thought even cold things hold on. I chose frozen dumplings because they're simple, because they're warm later, because they don't ask questions. At the checkout, the cashier smiled and said, "How's your day?" And I said, "Good," like a reflex I can't kill. My card beeped approval and the receipt printed out a long thin proof that I still exist in systems. Outside the sky was already dark. The bags pulled my arms down and it felt honest to carry weight. At home I unpacked slowly, lined items up as if neat rows could straighten my thoughts. I opened your message again, sorry, still sitting there like a coin on a table. I wrote in my notebook an apology without changes, just noise. Then I sat with the sentence until it stopped shaking. I cooked the dumplings, steam filled the kitchen. I ate standing up and felt the warmth settle. Later I deleted nothing, I replied nothing. I simply put my phone down and washed the dishes. The water was hot, my hands moved automatically, and I realized peace is sometimes boring, and boring is good. Boring means no drama, no begging, no proving. Before sleep I wrote one more line. Today I bought oranges and boundaries, and I meant both. I put my phone on airplane mode at 6:17 p.m. Like it was a ritual, like it was medicine. At first I felt anxious, as if the world would collapse, because I couldn't be reached by people who don't reach me anyway. I sat on the couch and listened to the room. The refrigerator hummed, the neighbor's muffled TV. The silence wasn't empty, it was spacious, like a clean table, waiting for something real. I lit a small candle, not for romance, for focus, a soft point of light to return to. I opened my notebook and wrote the time, then wrote, airplane mode is not punishment. Airplane mode is choice. I remembered how often I waited for your replies, checking, refreshing, as if love is a loading screen. Tonight I refuse that habit, not angrily, just firmly, like closing a door gently. I cooked dinner without music, just cutting vegetables, the knife tapping the board, steady, practical. I tasted the soup and added salt, then added more, then stopped and laugh quietly. Even salt has limits, even flavor needs restraint. I thought about that longer than I should have. After eating, I washed the pot, watched bubbles rise and burst, and felt oddly calm, watching things end naturally. I sat again with the candle and looked at my hands. They've held so many apologies, they deserve rest. I wrote about the day, the awkward meeting at work, the coffee that went cold, the way someone said my name kindly. Small kindnesses, they don't fix the big ache, but they remind me the world isn't only you. I wrote, I miss you sometimes. Then I added, and I still won't go back. It felt strict, but also honest, like putting a cast on a break so it can heal. At 8 p.m. I opened the window, a little cold air slid in, and I felt my thoughts sharpen. I heard distant traffic, a siren once, then nothing, and I didn't chase meaning. I sat with my breathing, counted slowly, and realized I've been holding my breath for months. Airplane mode stayed on, and nothing bad happened. No emergency, no miracle text. Just quiet, just me, just a night that didn't ask me to perform. Before bed I turned the phone back on, watched notifications appear, and felt nothing dramatic. I whispered, I'm allowed to be unreachable, and went to sleep like someone who finally believes it. I went to the library because my apartment felt too loud, not in sound, in memory. The doors opened quietly, warm air breathed out, paper and dust, and something steady I trust. I chose a table near the back, under a lamp that doesn't judge. I sat down and felt my shoulders drop. People whispered, pages turned softly, a chair scraped once, then the building returned to calm. I opened a book I didn't need, just to have something in my hands. I read the same paragraph twice because my mind kept wandering. It wandered to you, of course, to the way you used to talk big about the future, as if words build houses. Now I sit in borrowed silence, learning that houses are built with actions, with consistency. A student nearby highlighted lines, yellow streaks like small victories. I watch them work, and felt a strange respect. Focus is a kind of love, attention is a kind of care. I wish you had known that when you had me. I wrote in my notebook, libraries don't promise anything, and that's why they feel safe. I drank water slowly, listened to my own swallowing, and realized I've been thirsty for clarity. In the middle of the room, a clock ticks softly, not loud enough to scare, just loud enough to remind. Time will pass either way, with you, without you. I'm starting to accept that without can still be full. I read another page, this time it stuck. Words lined up neatly, like they wanted to help me. Outside, snow began lightly, tiny flakes drifting. I watched them through the window and felt my mind cool. I stayed an extra hour because nobody expected me to be anything here except quiet. When I finally stood up, my legs felt stiff, my heart felt lighter, as if it had been shelved neatly. On the walk home, street lights made the snow glow. I thought some things can be beautiful without being mine. At home I made tea again and noticed I wasn't reaching for my phone as often. I wrote one final line. Today I borrowed silence and returned stronger. And I closed the notebook like closing a chapter gently. Sunday arrived, quietly, no alarms, no rush, just a pale morning in my window. I stayed in bed longer than usual, not lazy, just tired. In a way sleep doesn't fully fix. I got up and decided it to make soup, the slow kind, the kind you stir when you want your hands to believe in time. I chopped onions and the smell filled the kitchen, sharp at first, then sweet like honesty after tears. I put a pot on the stove, watch the flame catch and thought. Some things respond immediately when you give them attention. I added garlic, carrots, broth, and listened to the small simmer begin. A gentle pulse in the room while it cooked. I'd clean the sink, wiped the counter, folded a towel as if preparing for someone. Then I realized I'm preparing for me, for my future self who deserves a clean space. I sat at the table with my notebook and wrote dear diary. Sundays used to mean us, and paused because the sentence felt heavy. I kept writing anyway. Now Sundays mean recovery and learning to enjoy my own company. The soup simmered, steam fogged the window. Outside the street was slow, like the city agreed to rest. I thought about writing you a letter, not to send, just to empty the parts of me still holding your shape. I wrote, I loved you honestly, I learned from you painfully, I'm leaving you quietly. I didn't decorate the words, I didn't add poetry. I let the plain truth sit like a bowl on a table. I tasted the soup, added salt, added pepper, then stopped because I'm learning when to stop. I ate slowly in silence and realized peace has a flavor too. After lunch I washed the pot and watched the water swirl. I thought letting go looks like chores more often than tears. In the afternoon I took a walk, just 1 block, then 2. Cold air cleared my head the way honesty clears a room. I came back home and the apartment felt softer, not because it changed, because I did. Before night I read my letter again and felt no fireworks, only calm. I tore the page out, folded it and put it in an envelope labeled Sunday, not for you, for me. Record of the day I stopped negotiating with the past. I turned off the lights and let the kitchen smell linger. Warm soup, warm air, a quiet proof of care. I left my coffee on the table too long and it drew a ring. A small brown circle like the day marking itself. I stared at it as if it was a map of where I've been going in my head without moving. Morning was quiet, not peaceful, just muted. I opened the curtains and the city looked tired with me. I rehated the coffee, it tasted like compromise. I drank it anyway because I'm still practicing acceptance. My phone lit up, nothing important, just the world doing its usual noise. I let it sit, I wrote in my notebook, today I will not chase clarity. Then I crossed out chase and wrote invite clarity like it's a guest, not a hostage, not a prize you earn by suffering. I work from my desk, answering messages, arranging files, moving through tasks like walking through shallow water. At lunch I ate a banana half bruised and thought about how often I accept bruised things out of habit. In the afternoon I cleaned the table and that coffee ring remained stubborn like certain memories. I traced its edge with my finger, then stopped because touching the past doesn't change it. I went outside for a short walk, cold air sharpening my lungs. I passed a bookstore window and saw my reflection again. I didn't look away this time, I held my own gaze and felt something settle like respect returning. Back home I made a fresh cup of coffee and used a coaster, a small act of prevention. It made me laugh how adulthood is sometimes just learning where to place a cup. Evening fell soft and early. I turned on a lamp and let the light be warm. I wrote again, coffee rings fade, but lessons stay, and that felt true enough. Before bed I wipe the table once more. The ring finally disappearing, slowly, reluctantly. I whispered good, not to the table, to myself. Not to the table, to myself. Found a receipt in my coat pocket from a place I barely remember. A convenience store at midnight. A bottle of water gum, a cheap pen. The paper was soft from being folded. Edges worn like it had traveled through days without being noticed. I held it up to the light, the ink was fading, and it made me think about how memories fade unevenly. Some moments disappear fast, others stay sharp like they're carved into the inside of your ribs. I put the receipt on the table, flattened it with my palm, and told myself today is not that night. Still it pulled me back to the street glow, to cold air, to the feeling of being awake alone. That night I didn't call you, I didn't want pity, I wanted presence and I didn't trust you to give it. Now seeing the receipt I felt proud, not loud proud, quiet proud, because I made it through without begging, without breaking, without turning my loneliness into a performance. I made tea, watched steam rise, and let the warmth remind me that care can be simple. At work later I kept thinking about paper, about proof, about how we need evidence when feelings don't feel stable. A coworker laughed at something and I laughed back for real, and it surprised me. Maybe joy is also a receipt, a small record that you paid attention and got something back. In the afternoon I walked home, hands in my pockets, and the receipt returned to my fingers like a secret. I decided to tape it into my notebook, not as nostalgia, as documentation of a version of me that survived. I wrote under it, midnight made me honest, and honesty made me stronger. Evening arrived, I cooked rice and eggs, simple, warm, and didn't feel deprived. Before bed I checked my coat again, nothing else in the pocket, no hidden messages, no miracles, just fabric, just emptiness. And for once, emptiness didn't scare me. I turned off the light and thought, some proofs are small, but they count. This morning the window had frost, thin white patterns like the glass was writing in a language of cold. I pressed my palm against it, felt the chill and thought, some truths are like this, quiet, sharp. I drew a small circle in the frost just to see through, a tiny clear hole, a permission to look out. The street below was slow, cars crawling, people hunched in coats like everyone was carrying something. I boiled water, the kettle sounds steady, a small engine of routine keeping me from drifting. I made coffee and watched steam fog the glass, frost and fog, cold and warmth arguing is harder than poetry. Poetry hides you, plain speech shows you, and I'm tired of hiding. At work I answered emails and felt my voice inside, trying to say your name, then stopping itself. I ate lunch alone again, not sad, just quiet. I watched people talk and wondered how they stay so light. In the afternoon, sunlight hit the window, the frost began to melt, water ran down in thin lines, like the glass letting go. I watched it and felt something in me soften. A small thaw, a small release. I came home early, turned on a lamp and wrote a sentence, one sentence, like a vow. I will not confuse longing with direction. I wrote it slow, then wrote it again to make it real. Before bed I wiped the window, cleared the last frost, and the glass looked plain, honest. I stood there and whispered, plain is good, and let the day end without bargaining. I put my phone face down like it was a boundary line. Not dramatic, just necessary. The screen went dark and my hands felt empty, as if I had placed down a habit, not a device. Morning moved on without it, sunlight on the sink, a spoon clinking in a cup, the neighbor's door closing. I realize how often I wait for the buzz, for the ping, as if attention equals love. I made breakfast slowly, eggs, toast. I ate at the table without scrolling. The silence was uncomfortable at first, like a new pair of shoes. Then it softened like my mind, learning a room at work. Messages piled up and I answered them when I chose, not when they demanded. That felt new, a small power, like holding my own time with both hands. At lunch I walked outside, cold air clearing my thoughts. I watched people talk on their phones, laughing. I wasn't jealous, I was curious. What does it feel like to call and be welcomed? In the afternoon I felt the urge to flip the phone back over, to check, to search for you in the world. I did not breathe and let the urge pass like traffic. After work I came home and the phone stayed face down while I cooked, while I washed dishes, while I stood by the window. I wrote in my notebook, face down is not avoidance, face down is respect for me. Later I flipped it over, checked once, messages that mattered, and I didn't spiral. I set it down again, face down, and smiled at myself for choosing quiet. Before bed I whispered I'm allowed to be unreachable, and I meant it without anger. I turned off the light and let the dark be restful, not punishing, just nice. The ceiling fan in winter, even though winter was loud. I looked at it and thought about unused things. I used to run it in summer air, moving like relief. Now it hangs above me, quiet, waiting. I sat on the bed and watched the blades as if they could spin on their own if I stared long enough. Sometimes I do that with people. Wait for movement, wait for effort from someone who's comfortable still. I made coffee and the smell filled the room, warm, forgiving, a small kindness that doesn't delay. The day outside was cold, sharp edges on the sky. I wrapped a scarf around my neck and felt protected. At work I kept thinking about waiting, how it becomes a lifestyle, how it becomes identity if you don't stop it. I wrote on a sticky note, stop waiting for proof, and put it on my monitor like a small boss. Lunch came and went, I ate quickly, then walked to the window and watched snow threaten the air. In the afternoon I felt tired, not from work, from carrying a story that no longer fits. I came home early, turned on a lamp and looked up at the ceiling fan again. Still I stood on a chair and dusted the blades, gray powder on my cloth like evidence of neglect. Not neglect from me, from time, from seasons changing without asking. I thought love is like this too. If you don't use it, if you don't maintain it, gathers dust up. I sat back down and decided I won't keep dusting for someone who won't turn the switch. I wrote in my notebook, winter is honest, stillness is information. Evening came, I cooked something warm, I ate slowly and let my shoulders unclench. Before bed I turned the fan on just for a second. It spun once, twice, then I turned it off again. Not because I needed it, because I could, because choice is a kind of heat. I opened my sock drawer and it looked like a small storm. Pairs split apart, corners folded wrong. I didn't know why it bothered me, but it did. Maybe because it's easier to fix cotton than feelings. So I sat on the floor and started matching black with black, gray with gray, like a quiet kind of justice. One sock had a hole right at the heel. I held it up and thought about how damage always shows where you keep pressure. I threw it away, no ceremony, just a clean decision. And I felt a strange relief. I kept going, folding slowly, stacking neatly, not perfect, but intentional. The room was quiet, only the sound of fabric and my breathing, and that tiny voice in my head saying, see, you can make order. I remembered how we used to argue about small things. You'd call me too detailed and I'd call you careless, as if love was a contest of habits. Now I know details are just where truth hides when big words fail. At noon I made lunch, simple rice and eggs. I ate at the table and didn't multitask, like I was training my mind to stay present. I checked my phone once, then set it down face down. A ritual now, like closing a window when the wind is sharp in the afternoon. I cleaned the closet shelf, found an old scarf, the one you once complimented. I held it to my face and it smelled like time. I didn't cry, I didn't romanticize. I folded it and put it back, because memory can stay without being in charge. Evening came and I realized I wasn't waiting for you to appear as much as I used to. I wrote in my notebook, today I matched socks and boundaries, and left quietly because it's true. Before bed I opened the drawer again just to look. Neat rows, quiet proof. I turned off the light and felt my chest loosen. A small reset in a day that didn't ask for miracles. I tapped my Metro card and the gate clicked open. The sound that always feels like permission. The station air was warm and smelled like metal and coffee. People move fast like their lives were late. I followed the flow, not resisting, just blending in, because blending in is easier than explaining your mood. On the platform, a train roared through a wind, pushing my coat back as if the city wanted to remind me it has force. I watched an ad screen blink, bright colors, perfect smiles, and felt the gap between what's sold and what's lived. The train arrived, doors opened, I stepped in and took a corner spot so my thoughts could lean without falling. A man beside me kept checking his phone, thumb moving like a metronome. I recognized the rhythm because I used to do it for you. Waiting, refreshing, reading silence until silence felt like an answer. I looked at my own phone and locked it and slipped it back into my pocket, like a small act of respect for my nervous system. The train shook gently, lights flickered once on one side loudly, and I felt oddly comforted by how human the sounds were. At the next stop, a girl got on with a bouquet, flowers wrapped in newspaper. I wondered who will receive them and if they'll believe the care is real. My reflection in the window, laid over tunnel darkness, made me look like a ghost traveling through my own routine. I wrote a line in my head and I lost, I am in transit, and it felt true enough to hold. Work was work, emails, meetings, polite laughter. I played my part without bleeding into it after work. I tapped the card again, gate clicking open, gate clicking closed, and I realized habits are just doors we practice. On the ride home I watched strangers' faces, tired, focused, soft, and felt less alone. Not because I knew them, because we were all carrying something. At my stop I walked out, cold air meeting me sharp and clean like a reset button. I wrote in my notebook, today I moved without chasing, and I meant it like a promise that doesn't need applause. Sticky note and put it on my mirror, bright yellow, impossible to ignore. It said, don't negotiate with absence. I stared at it, brushed my teeth and felt the sentence. Watch me back, morning light came in, thin and pale. I looked tired but not defeated, just learning. At work I kept touching the edge of that note in my mind, like a talisman when my thoughts tried to drift toward you. The habit still shows up, the impulse to explain, to justify, to prove I'm worthy of a reply. But the sticky note rule stood there, simple, like a fence. Lunch was quick, I ate at my desk and listened to coworkers talk about weekend plans. Their voices light like balloons. I smiled politely, then went to the restroom and stared at my own face again. In another mirror I thought, I've been looking at myself a lot lately. Now vanity, inventory, checking what's broken, checking what's healing. In the afternoon your name popped into my mind as naturally as breathing, and I didn't fight it, I just watched it pass like a train I no longer board. After work I came home and the sticky note was still there, unchanged, waiting without demanding. I boiled water, made tea, and stood in the kitchen, listening to the kettle settle as if the house was exhaling. I wrote in my notebook, rules aren't walls, they're rails. Rails keep you from falling when the road gets slippery. I remembered how we used to promise we'll talk, and how we'll talk turned into a hallway I kept walking down alone. Tonight I didn't walk that hallway, I sat down and let the room be quiet without calling it empty. Before bed I looked at the sticky note again and whispered, thank you, not to paper, to myself. I turned off the light and felt something steady, like the smallest kind of strength taking root.
Saw the moon in the parking lot between two buildings, caught in the gap like it was waiting for someone. The asphalt was cold and the air smelled like gasoline in winter. I stood still, hands in my pockets, and let the moon look at me. It's strange how something that far away can feel personal when you're quiet enough. I thought about you, not with anger, not with longing, more like remembering a song you used to play on repeat. The streetlights buzz softly, a tire electric hum, and a car past headlights washing over my shoes, then gone. I walked to my car slowly like I didn't want to arrive, because arriving means you have to be inside your life again. I sat in the driver's seat and didn't start the engine. I just listened to the small ticking of cooling metal in my own breathing. I remember the nights we used to sit talking in a parked car, saying the big things because the world felt smaller in there. Now I sit alone, the car feels like a shell, safe but not warm. I started the engine, radio off, and drove home, letting the city slide past like pages turning. At a red light I watched my hands on the wheel, steady in thought. Stability is a kind of love I can give myself. Home was quiet, I turned on one lamp and the room softened as if it welcomed me without question. I ate something simple and stood at the window, watching the same moon from a different angle. I wrote in my notebook, distance doesn't erase care, but it can protect it from becoming damaged. I don't know if that's mature or just tired, but tonight it felt right. It felt right. I opened the window, a crack, cold air came in, and the moonlight touched the floor like a gentle reminder. Whispered, I'm still here, and let sleep come. Without bargaining. Door chain rattled this morning when the wind pushed the hallway draft. A small metallic shake, like the house clearing its throat. I stared at it and thought about safety, how we build it, how we forget to. I used to leave my emotional door unlocked for you, because I believe love was supposed to be open. Now I'm learning open doesn't mean unprotected. Open doesn't mean available to confusion. I made coffee and the first sip was too hot. I burned my tongue slightly and laughed, because even comfort has sharp edges. Work was heavy today, not in tasks, in people, and how everyone wants something and nobody wants to sit in silence. I answered politely, kept my voice calm, and felt my patience stretch like elastic. At lunch I took a short walk, cold air clearing my head. I watched a man unlock his bike, chain clinking, lock clicking open, and I thought about access again. Who gets access to me, to my time, to my softness? After work I came home and the hallway felt too quiet, like it was waiting for drama. I shut the door and slid the chain into place. Click, a small final sound. Not fear, not bitterness, just a boundary with a clear noise. I cooked dinner slowly, washed dishes right after, and noticed how good it feels to finish things. I wrote in my notebook, chains aren't cages, chains are choices. Choices keep you from repeating. I thought about you briefly and felt the old pull, then heard that chain click in my memory, and the pull softened. Before bed, I checked the lock once, then stopped myself, because trust starts with not rechecking everything. I turned off the lights and listened to the building settle, pipes clicking, neighbors moving, life continuing. I whispered goodnight to the room, to myself, to the version of me that finally learned how to close the door gently.